Distinction. Learning Center. The light of education.
In his room at Adeniyi Jones, Ikeja, Lagos, Bipo was about to say his night prayer when the phone rang. He was undecided, momentarily, whether to answer or proceed with the prayer. He looked at the screen to see who was calling. "Haba," he exclaimed. "Why would this woman be calling so late?" It was Mrs. Ignatius, the parent of a student. She was one of those whom Bipo believed was abusing the friendliness he permitted. Some, and many, indeed, kept the relationship as official as possible. They limited discussions to matters pertaining to fees, books, discipline, punctuality, etc. But in Mrs. Ignatius' case, she overstretched the cordiality, discussing even her marital affairs with him. Bipo racked his brain, trying to recall how it all started. He wondered how he could have allowed such personal dealings with any parent. How could she call him in the dead of night? "He has come again, oh!" Mrs. Ignatius cried. "Who, madam?" Bipo asked, anger bottled within. And before she could respond, he added, "Madam, check your watch. It's 1:55 a.m. Is it not too late for this?" "I'm sorry, Principal. But did you know that IB is not yet home?" Bipo launched a silence that he knew would not be palatable to her. "For God's sake, is it a crime to be a principal?" he asked as he momentarily pushed the phone away from the range of his mouth, then shut his robust eyes as if the answer to the question lay in the dark. Banking on his 6-footer height and prominent eyeballs, he always jovially told the students that he was created to be a principal. According to him, once he was present in any class or hall, no act of cheating could go uncaught. "If you beat my height, you can't beat my eyes," he would declare whenever he was supervising any exam. The fact was that the man seemed to have every trait maximally, if not in excess. His complexion, for instance, was as fair as that of the yellow ant that the Yoruba called Salomo, while his was a voice that hardly needed a loudspeaker no matter the size of the crowd he was addressing. Bipo yet had another tale that the students often branded Torai. "When I was growing up in the village and my family was working on my father's farm, Salomo used to bite my brothers and sisters, especially when we were harvesting kolanut whose trees one had too often to climb. But Salomo never beat me because my skin bore the same color as theirs." That was the extent to which Bipo could be down to earth in the school, though he combined humor and compassion with seriousness wherever required. What he, however, hated was being taken for granted or overstretched, as, he believed, Mrs. Ignatius was now doing. He had told her that she needed to have a lot of patience to let the wound heal. She had wronged the man, he believed. She had terribly wronged him and the man had cause to be upset. As a matter of fact, he thought, only very few men would still allow the marriage to hold in whatever form. A year earlier, the family had been planning to relocate to London. Mr. IB was a manager in an oil farm, earning what a bloody teacher like Bipo would call an armed robber salary. But he became fed up with the system and bought into the Joppa philosophy, vowing he was ready to sacrifice all because of his children. "My children won't grow up here. They won't end up here," IB Ignatius had insisted. "I want them to grow up in a sane environment. I don't want other children that are being trained outside the country now to return and lord things over my own children. Youths are the leaders of tomorrow, not all youths. Many of the ones getting Western exposure will become the leaders. I work in an international organization, so I know what I'm saying." Apart from the sentiment in favor of the children, the economic advantage which relocation promised made it an adventure more and more people were willing to explore. It was all about dollars and pounds. All you needed to do was work in any place, for many people, just any place, on the hard currencies and be able to send home even $1,000 per month. Then, your life would not remain the same again. With a dollar exchanging for as much as 1,600 Nigerian nairas in the black market, it meant you were automatically saving 1,600,000 Nigerian nairas a month. How many people in the country were able to do that? How many earned 1,600,000 Nigerian nairas, or half or even a quarter? How many, in a country where lawyers could earn as low as 15,000 Nigerian nairas monthly and some teachers were being paid the same or less as salary? Mrs. Ignatius greatly loved the jopper idea. She had learned tailoring and hairdressing, including the traditional Yoruba iron didi, having understood that the crafts fetched a lot of money in the UK. From the information she gathered, you could earn up to $100 braiding for a client. That, changed to Nigeria's currency, was some 160,000 Nigerian nairas, for just crafting suku or any other Yoruba braid like kojosoko and onagogoro. While suku teased the sky with its cone-like weaving, the kojosoko braid pointed its tip towards the direction of the husband. Onagogoro's cone was so extroverted that it threatened to kiss the sky. While preparing for a hairdressing career in Canada, Mrs. Ignatius had learned the bridal art a year earlier, before pulling out of her job as a clerical officer. The husband also had wound down his clearing and forwarding side business, preparatory to relocation. But something happened that scattered the plan. When the visa processing reached an advanced stage, a DNA test conducted on their 3 children showed that Ignatius was not the father of one of the kids, Favor, a 15-year-old SS2 girl at Stardom. The family never remained the same again. "What is the matter now?" Bippo asked, after his long silence, which the woman felt lasted 100 years. "He still doesn't believe I did not cheat on him. He is now saying Favor and I have to go." "Go where?" "He says we should go and stay with Favor's father." Has Favor learnt of the entire saga? Does she know about the paternity crisis? No. I don't think so. But there is a kind of suspicion on the part of T, her brother. He has been asking some disturbing questions lately. He says there must be a reason, a key reason, the embassy turned around and denied us the visas. I think he has read up why families may have visa issues. So, is he suspecting a DNA crisis? Honestly, I can't say. There was a stretch of silence. Then, she added, "I left home 2 hours ago, as we were discussing the matter." "Principal, don't you think he might never come back?" Bippo had no answer. He was equally set for his own relocation, believing he would soon have respite from the Ignatius saga. Experience taught Bippo several lessons about running an elite school like Stardom. He hoped some of these would be relevant in his next station. He knew culture and policies differed from one country to another. But no experience was a waste. Every parent wants respect, and many seek to keep their pride. Some are rich, considerate, and humble. Some are rich, selfish, and nasty. While all these traits reflect in the behavior of the children, they kept the management on its toes as it pushed to achieve goals. Bippo reminisced on some of the major incidents that defined his stay at Stardom. He hoped that, someday, he would detail these in a book. He prayed his job in the UK would give him enough time to work on his professional biography. Among the memorable stories he would love to share was the sacking of Mr. Isoro, the government teacher. At her GRA, Lagos home, Mrs. Mary Ladil relaxed on a sofa, watching a movie. It was a Nollywood production, the type she liked, a romance. Some 5 months ago, she had been a devotee at the world, savoring Indian soaps that dripped with love scenes and intrigues. But recent visits to the cinema, where she saw about 5 Nollywood productions, rekindled her love for Nigerian films. It was around 1 a.m. Her 3 children had all gone to bed. She was the only person in the sitting room. Her husband, Deli, was away in Abuja, where he worked as a senior civil servant. The kids could turn naughty and cook up excuses to hang around the medium-sized plasma TV, but she had mandated them to always go to bed at 10 p.m. The youngest, Bibi, was particularly notorious for wanting to flout the order, especially when her father was around. When you thought she had disappeared into the bosom of sleep, you looked in the direction of the sitting room door and saw her mischievous eyes peeping through the blinds. Then a mild battle would start between mother and daughter. It was Deli who, at times, pleaded for her or fought on her side so that she could stay awake till 11 p.m. On such nights, the mother would insist Deli wake Bibi up in the morning, knowing how tough it could be to get her on her feet. In the movie, a female physician, Dr. Ajayi, was about to conduct a cesarean section on Bimbo, a bosom friend of hers. It was a task the doctor was quite happy to undertake, aided by 3 other colleagues. 2 of these were invited from a general hospital nearby because of their expertise and experience. The third worked at Legacy Memorial Hospital, a private establishment. Many people had reservations about government hospitals. They dreaded them because of the large crowds they attracted, which usually left doctors overwhelmed. They were also often bogged down by inefficiency and corruption. Nevertheless, government hospitals were still famed for having some of the best consultants in the country. Therefore, regarding CS matters, many patients preferred taking the operation in public hospitals. And when they had to do so in private establishments, they opted for doctors from public hospitals on the team. It was this synthetic arrangement Dr. Ajayi had with Bimbo. For Mrs. Ladil, who had had the CS experience, watching the scene in the movie was an engaging treat. It was also good that the filmmakers chose to show the operation live. But what made the scene most captivating for Mrs. Ladil was an imminent bubble burst. Unknown to Dr. Ajayi, her husband was responsible for Bimbo's pregnancy. As the truth was about to hit the doctor, Mrs. Ladil, enthralled and caring little about her falling wrapper, inched closer to the TV set to see how the painful truth would unfold. Just then, she heard a scream. It was Bibi. She rushed into the room and found the girl trembling, seated on the edge of the bed. "Mommy!" Bibi cried, as she saw her mother. Her brother and sister, Tim and Love, had also been rudely awakened from sleep, looking bewildered. "Bibi, what is the matter?" the mother asked, as she carried the girl and cradled her in her arms. "It's Mr. Waller." "Mr. what?" "Who is Mr. Waller?" "Our government teacher. He appeared to me in my dream. With his tribal mark." I stepped in to clear the confusion. Bibi actually meant Mr. Isoro, popular in the school for the deep tribal marks he flaunted. So prominent were the incisions that students nicknamed him Mr. Waller, a derogatory Yoruba appellation for a person with wild facial marks. Every time Bibi saw Isoro in school, she became scared. They met at the basketball court the previous week, when Blue House, to which she belonged, held its maiden practice ahead of the upcoming inter-house sports competition. Bibi steamed with fright as Isoro, who was one of the Blue House officers, arrived at the venue. Every effort by Mr. Isoro to allay the girl's fear was unsuccessful. Eventually, Bibi had to be reassigned to Greenhouse, where Tim belonged. None of the Ladils slept again that night. Twice, Bibi's mom tried to pet the girl into sleeping. Twice the girl dreamt, crying out about Mr. Waller. Mrs. Ladil could hardly wait for daybreak to launch a complaint at Stardom. Worried that it could lose Bibi and her siblings to another private school, the management transferred Mr. Isoro to Stardom Hub, the property wing of Stardom Group of Companies.